Hello, are we online?
Hello.
Hello,
Today
friends.
we are talking about how to beat hyperinflation and how to beat inflation, mostly how to beat inflation, I guess. The talk in the news before this week was all of the great inflation that's been going on, and people are panicking about it. And you don't have to panic.
Yep, that's it, pretty much. Just kidding.
So Mike and I were talking about this, and he made the observation that inflation hasn't been this bad since we were 7 years old. Thanks to Carter.
Well, they said
And what?
Oh, go ahead.
And I was like, wow, that's so true. But then we were talking, and I was like, okay, but wait a minute. When Obama was in office, gas was like $4.57 a gallon or something. It was ridiculously expensive. And we were only making about, what was that, $30,000 a year probably with 4 kids. And I told Mike, I said, well, did it really affect us? He said, well, I remember filling up the gas tank on our car. We had a Camry at that time or something. And it was $65 to fill up our little car.
It had been like $28 up till then.
I can't imagine how people with trucks did it. My goodness, that would have been crazy. And so we're talking a little bit about hyperinflation and inflation for all the books.
Okay.
Hello, Jonathan and Helter Skelter. Hey, guys. And how to beat inflation, because it's really not that difficult. So
Just don't spend so much.
we'll see, Dave. Dave just said, you want to come say that on camera, Dave? Dave has the answer for you. Go ahead, Dave. Tell him.
Just don't spend so much.
Wise words.
It's easy.
Now,
It's not hard.
if an 18-year-old can figure this out, I think everybody else could figure this out too. But here's
Stop with the McDonald's.
oh, stop with the McDonald's,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah. Spitting facts.
You're spitting facts. So here's what you're going to have to do. First of all, you're going to have to keep it in perspective. This is not hyperinflation yet. I don't know. It may seem like it for some things, but it's really not. So here's an article from a news station that a viewer had sent me from November, and it says, I can't even afford to buy a cart of groceries. Spiraling inflation leaves some grocery workers struggling. So it says that this lady named Mindy used $4 from her thinning bank account to pick up her family dinner at McDonald's for her day off as a Walmart cashier. Then she says after 12 years in the company, she makes $12.85 as a full-time employee, which leaves $200 every 2 weeks after monthly rent and utilities to cover essentials for herself and her 3 kids. Food, it's stressful, she said. I think all day, what am I going to buy when I get off work that I can afford? What am I going to get? It's just hard. Okay.
So I'm just thinking,
You guys see it coming,
well, as I
don't
hear
you?
that, I just think, the inflation rate right now it's up 7% since last year at this time. That's not quite as difficult as that story sounds. Yeah, it's harder, but some of that is the news.
So here's the thing. The article goes on to say the average Walmart employee is $16 an hour, and consumer prices have gone up 6%, and how, yes, employees have gotten a raise, but part of that has to be used for rising prices. Did you catch that? Part of it has to be used for rising prices. So they still got a raise, more than the 6%. Not all of it has to go to inflation. And I went to the grocery store this morning because they had Cheerios for 99 cents a box. And I have two fine fellows who love Cheerios. So I went and got 6 boxes, and I was standing in and bought them. They were 99 cents. This is fine fellow number 1 who loves Cheerios and fine fellow number 2 who loves Cheerios. And I was standing in the parking lot because the Cheerios box had $1 off 2 boxes on the back for Cheerios and $1 off 2 boxes of Lucky Charms, which were also 99 cents. So I stood in the parking lot with my little razor blade when it was 10 degrees outside at 7 o'clock this morning and cut out the coupons, went back in the store, and I got 24 boxes of Cheerios and Lucky Charms for 50 cents each. The shelf price for those boxes was $7.49. I saved $200 for literally not even 5 minutes worth of work. $200 for 5 minutes worth of work. How many hours would you have to work to make that $200? Jonathan, are you doing the math for me? How many hours?
12.5 hours.
If you're making how much money an hour?
If you're making $16 an hour.
If you're making $16 an hour, Jack just did the math for me, it's 12 hours, but that doesn't include taxes. So if you're a double income family and you're in a 25% tax bracket, then you're going to be paying 25 on that also. So it's going to take you about 13 or 14 hours to work for that less than 5 minutes worth of work that I did in the parking lot. So I went back in, got in line with my 24 boxes of Cheerios, and this lady got behind me and she said, "What are you doing with all that cereal?" And I said, I have a couple of guys in my house that really like Cheerios, and it's 50 cents a box with the coupon. And I said, I just went out, bought my first 6 boxes for 99 cents each, went out, cut out the coupons, and now I'm buying the other ones. And she's like, wow. And I said, I run a YouTube channel on saving money, so I have to practice what I preach. And I said, everybody complains about inflation, but I said, my grocery bill hasn't gone up at all. If anything, it's going down. And she was like, oh, well, that must be nice. I said, I'm standing in the same grocery store that I'm buying these items with another woman who's at the same grocery store. I'm not exaggerating, 6 feet away from the same Cheerios that I just purchased. And she can't grasp how I'm not lucky, or how I'm lucky, or how it must be nice. And I told her, I said, well, some people just don't want to do the work. I said, that's fine if you don't want to do the work, but I just saved over $200 doing 5 minutes worth of work, and I'd rather do that than go work at a normal job. She couldn't say anything. I was nice about it. But here's the thing. You're going to have to do a little work. Now, all of this, put in the link again, is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook. Okay? It's also all entirely free on our website, livingonadime.com. Why? Because we want you to be able to have the tools to do this. But you're going to have to do the work and read the articles. You're going to have to do the work and cook at home. You're going to have to do the work and do the grocery shopping. My grocery bill, everybody's complaining about rising food prices. Yeah, $7.49 for a box of cereal. Are you kidding me? I would never pay $7.49 for a box of cereal.
Someone asked, I'm confused, was a cereal originally $7?
Yeah.
Must have missed something.
That's the $7.49 was the original price.
For the ones that you bought for 99 cents?
And they had them on sale for 99 cents. And then I had a coupon for 50 cents off. So they were 50 cents a box. And do you know what? I don't know that I have ever purchased cereal for 50 cents a box. I don't know that I have. Maybe I have, and I just don't remember. Maybe I did once or twice before.
Well, but the thing is, because I don't see it in the comments yet, but I know some people are thinking,
It's
well,
coming.
you were lucky to find it that one time. But the point is, and if you've been around here for a long time, you know this. If you keep your eyes open while you're at the store, you will find these kinds of things. And what we found is, in order to create a buffer for yourself, you have to, make some space by saving. And one of the ways to do that is when you see things you use a lot on a super sale, take advantage of it and buy some. And then the next time you have more money that you're not spending on that to spend on a different thing that happens to be on sale then, so that you can create a buffer zone so that you're not spending every dime you make.
Yeah.
And then when there is inflation, because there is inflation right now and prices are going up, you can weather that storm a lot easier. That's the thing. For us, we've had very little income for a lot of our married life. And at certain times our expenses were right with our income for a long time, but we kept finding these kinds of deals and things to kind of make more buffer space so that when the economy was difficult, we were able to do that. And the story that Tara told earlier, we were driving more than the average person and our income wasn't that high, and gas went from like $2 a gallon to $3.95 or something like that. And I was a little bit alarmed because we were driving more than some people. But nevertheless, we were able to get through that because of things like finding these deals when they're there. And it's just keeping your eyes open when you're at the store.
Okay, so Lucky Texans says, how does one get a hold of that many coupons?
They were
on the back of the box. And today, like 3 months ago, I did a video on all my Cheerios that I had stocked up on. And today I thought, I wonder if there's going to be another coupon on the back of the box. So I took my razor blade with me when I went to the store just in case. They were right there on the box. I bought six boxes at 99 cents, went out to the parking lot, used my razor blade, cut it out of the back of the box, walked right back in, got 24 packages of Cheerios and Lucky Charms for $12. It was literally 5 minutes worth of work, guys. Even going back in the store, that was another 5 minutes worth of work. It literally took me 10 minutes to do it. I mean, it was, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go back tomorrow and get some more because I'm like, well, that's a stinking good deal. What was I thinking? I should have bought all they had. No, I didn't. I'm not saying I bought all they had. I'm just using it as an expression. But if you find a deal like that and somebody said, well, I can't ever find deals like that. Stop saying you can't find deals like that. And look, we were in Colorado coming back from the airport from Utah, from a YouTube conference we went to last week. And we were in Walmart I'm on a super restricted diet like right now. So I had to go get me some food at Walmart. So we stopped at Walmart, got my canned chicken, got my canned pineapple. And I happened to look, the canned pineapple was 75 cents a can instead of $1.67 that it is here for the expensive brand. What did we do? We got 3 cases of pineapple. Why should I pay double for food when I don't need to? And, people like this lady in the article working at Walmart, I'm sorry, but if you've been working at a job for 12 years and you're making $12 an hour, you need to find a better job. There are tons and tons of jobs around for people that they can work and make more money.
Sharon says, oh, we both know you're going back to get the rest.
Well, here's the thing. I don't ever clear out the shelves. That's one thing I get totally criticized for all the time. I don't clear out the shelves. Well, I mean, if it's something like there's 6 cans of pork and beans left for 25 cents, yeah, I'll clear it out for that. But I mean, I don't go in and
buy a whole cartload of something.
No.
Yeah.
I've never, well, buy a whole cartload, but I make sure that there's some left. But
well, one thing I would like to say, because I don't see it here, but I just sense that somebody's thinking it. Like, if I want to go in and get cereal, I don't find it for that price. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the point that we're trying to make on that is that when you go into the store for normal things, keep your eyes open. And when you notice something that's that's a better deal than usual, then you can catch it for that price. If you're going in today and saying, I've got to go get Cheerios or something like it, you're going to pay whatever the price is on the shelf that day.
Stop being so
But-
persnickety about your food.
But if you go into the store and you say, here's some stuff on my list, and I'm just going to kind of keep my eyes open while I'm in the store, I will be going in for meat, and I'll be going in for beans, and I'll be going in for pasta. Oh, hey, but I just noticed as I walked down the cereal aisle that there's a big price drop on this cereal. And that's what she's doing and buying that. And kind of the whole thing about saving that way is that's what you want to kind of get in the habit of doing, not just buying things right now when you need them. And that's part of the stockpiling thing too, is if you see a really great deal on something, then spend a little extra to buy it while it's a great deal if it's something that you always use, because you know you'll use it, but then it's 99 cents today, but next week it's $3.49.
Yeah.
And if you buy like a whole bunch of cereal today at 99 cents and you keep it in your stockpile, then next week when the cereal is $3.49, you can buy the hamburger that's 99 cents a pound. And because you're not buying the cereal that week that you need that week. So that's kind of the concept of how to do that. And some things you can't change or change easily. Like if your job is far away and you're paying for gas is the price that it is, you might have to just kind of deal with that. But there are some options, like you could try to get a job that's closer to home. You could ask them to let you work online.
Carpool with somebody.
Even
take
the bus.
If Lyft or Uber, if it would pay. I mean, if you're making $12 an hour and you find a job for $25 or for $20 an hour, and you have to pay $5 or $10 to go to Uber to get to work, that's still, you're making a whole lot of money.
Well, and some people were talking about rent prices going up. And that is a cost that if you need to be exactly where you are, you may have to kind of work around that and save in other ways. But at the same time, it is possible to move if it gets bad enough. And the thing about rent prices going up is that's not necessarily inflation that's causing rent prices to go up. That can be more supply and demand. Like, for instance, when we were in Colorado, all these people were flooding into Colorado and they were paying ridiculous amounts of money to buy houses or whatever. And a lot more people were coming in than there was housing for. In fact, here, even in our smaller town, a lot of people have moved to the area, and that causes prices to go up. So if you live in California or Colorado or certain places in Texas where a lot of people are moving, or where they just generally move anyway, then your rent prices may go up, or your house prices, but that's not really necessarily because of inflation. Inflation would be more the price of goods. But a lot of times especially when it's food, the inflation is the worst on pre-made things. And it's funny because who was it that said it? Esther. What I can't understand is the line at Starbucks hasn't changed.
It hasn't.
And that's
yesterday we counted 13 cars in Starbucks. 13 cars waiting in line at Starbucks. And it's like that every single time we go to town. That's how long the line is. And I know you guys that are watching us, you don't normally do Starbucks that much, so we're preaching to the choir here. But that's where a big part of it goes. A
lot of the kind of insulating yourself against that, though, is to not necessarily be in the habit of buying the things regularly that are most susceptible to the price change. Like, for instance, if you eat out a lot, if you go to fast food a lot, your price will increase a lot more when there's some inflation. If you buy raw items and make food from scratch, like from the Dining on a Dime cookbook, like you buy some rice and you buy some chicken and you buy some beans and you make a Mexican dish of some sort, or you buy rice and chicken and vegetables and you make your own thing. That's going to be a lot cheaper than if you say, I have to go to the store and buy pre-made things, or I'm going out to the restaurant. Or like for gluten-free, because we have the gluten-free book, gluten-free is ridiculously expensive to buy it pre-made. So if you go to the store and you buy gluten-free bread, you're going to pay a lot more than if you make your own.
It's $6 for gluten-free bread here, and I can make it for $1.50. And it's really good.
So as far as inflation goes, it's funny that Esther made that observation about Starbucks, is that if you're buying things that are already prepared for you, then you're going to be a lot more susceptible to the inflation.
Yep. All right. Let's go through some questions here. Becky, don't you guys do cooking shows anymore? Not for the moment, but let me give you my cooking channel. Mike will give you super easy recipes is my new cooking channel that I'm working on. And then someone else asked, how do you follow the sales cycles? Use something like our price book. You don't have to buy it, but go look at our price book and use something like our price book to track the sales. Like the Cheerios are 99 cents with a 50-cent coupon. So they write that in my price book. January 2022, Cheerios 99 cents, 50-cent coupon. So I know that if I find them cheaper than 50 cents a box, that I'm going to stock up. Usually everything goes on sale about every 3 months, really, really low. So like the same Cheerios that are 99 cents this week, next week they're going to be $1.49. I don't know why they do that, but I've noticed that they do that here. Chicken breasts, they go on sale about every 3 months here. I stocked up on $1.49 chicken breast just a couple months ago, and we're still eating out of the 100 pounds of chicken breasts that I bought. And so that's kind of how you do that. When you're watching, just write down what they are, when they are, and then just start seeing a pattern.
Yeah, Diane says my friend is freaking out about prices, but if you dig in, all she buys is pre-made meals.
Yeah.
I keep telling her how much cheaper it is to cook from scratch. It really is, and that's the thing.
And it's fine if you're a single person and you buy one TV dinner for your meal, but how many people buy one TV dinner for their meal?
Yeah, the thing is that I'm not saying inflation is a good thing. We definitely would like to avoid it. But if you're buying things and making things from scratch, that's a choice you can make to reduce the impact on you. And if you do that for the long term, even when times are good, you don't eat out as much and you don't buy pre-prepared things as much, you can save that money aside. And then if you run into more difficult times, it's easier. Like we tell stories about back in the days when we had no money at all, and we had, we borrowed a dorm refrigerator because we didn't have a fridge or freezer, and we were keeping food outside to freeze it or refrigerate it. But along the years, we started doing like this kind of stuff we're talking about and making extra space in the budget because we had things sort of stockpiled when they were at lower prices. And it got to then where we would set aside money. And then when things were difficult, it was a lot easier to weather those storms because normally they don't stay difficult forever. I mean, It could go that way, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But right now, it's prices are higher for various reasons, but one of the things that I know is affecting things is the whole supply chain thing. And I know most people don't understand what that means, but when we were trying to get those of you who are following, who were part of our pre-ordering sale on our books before, we bought books, but we could not get them to our location because of all the shipping. There were all sorts of problems, and the supply chain is how things get from where they originate to you. And they're created somewhere, and then they have to travel in various ways and pass through ports and all sorts of stuff, and then it gets to you. And so on that, part of the issue is that there's a major disruption in that for various reasons. And because of that, it's harder to get some of those items, and that would cause a price. So that's why some prices are going up a lot more than others.
So a lot of people are saying, okay, but the boxes are shrinking. They aren't. It's the same 12-ounce box that's always been on sale that I always get for Cheerios. So for that situation, no, it's not. And even if some stuff is shrinking, still, I go by the price per ounce, not by the price per box when I'm calculating my prices. I'm still finding chicken, $1.49 a pound. Chicken, $1.99 a pound. Hamburger is on sale for $2.49 this week. Hamburger's been $2.49 for me for more than 10 years. So, I mean, really, it's a lot of making excuses for just not wanting to save on your grocery bill. I know. So Anyway, how did I get oh yeah, we did the coupon question. All right, Wanda says she got some good cereal for 47 cents a box a couple of weeks ago. Limit of 3 though. That's fine. But when that happens, then I send in, if it doesn't say per household, then I send Mike and Dave in or mom and go pick me up 3. So then I can get 12 boxes right there if it's limit 1 per person. Let's see. Jay Moore. I rarely use coupons, and when I do, they expire before in stores. So I don't normally use coupons. The Cheerios coupons are probably the only ones I've used for the last year. Is all I've used is Cheerio coupons. So yeah, Josephine, which spices do you use the most? I use garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, paprika, cumin, curry, and chili powder. Those are mostly the ones that I use. And I can make and I have basil and oregano, but I don't really use those that much. We eat more Mexican than we do Italian. Marie says I always check the discounted area at Kroger. I've gotten great deals. Kroger has great clearance sections. Yeah, great clearance section. Alicia says no coupon limit. We have a limit of 1 coupon per product here. Yeah, 1 coupon per product. So I could use a coupon on each box. Now, 1 coupon for all of it, I haven't seen that limit here yet at all. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That's why I'm stocking up right now while I can.
One thing that's helpful is if you're married or whatever, if you have your spouse go out and, Tara's had me shop certain times. Like there was a time where my workplace was less than a mile from an Aldi, but we lived 10 miles from there. So, and we had little kids at the time, and she was kind of overrun with that. And she said, hey, can you pick up a few things for me at Aldi? And the thing about Aldi, for those of you who know, it's a pretty small store. And I would basically walk up one aisle and down the aisle and basically do the whole store because there were only like 6 or 8 aisles in the store. And I realized we pretty much always buy things here and here and here and here. And I would walk past those things pretty regularly. And if I saw something, like our kids loved the canned peaches and the canned pears. And they would eat a lot of them when they were little. And so Tara would say, get a couple cans of peaches. And if I'd go there, sometimes they didn't have sales there, but the prices were really low anyway. And sometimes if I wasn't sure, I would just buy a few extra. And because I would think we're definitely going to use it anyway. But that kind of spilled over when I started going to other stores. And I would call Tara and say, whoa, almonds are, really cheap today. And I would say, is this a good price? I think it's a good price. And she would say, oh yeah, buy a bunch of them. And so if there's somebody that you have, that you can kind of send to help you keep an eye on that'd be cool too.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, shoot. It went away. But somebody in Australia said you can't find toilet paper at all there in Australia because so many people are home from work now. I just put in my video prepping for pooping. Please send that to all your Australian friends. Share it on Facebook and everything for them. That will help them. Let's see. Rooster says this technique has saved me so much time and money. Yeah. I mean, really, it has for us too.
Well, and it's funny because it's little things like this that really can make you much more able to weather any kind of financial storm.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if you were out there, I'm using this example. Just kidding. We talked to somebody who asked us how much we put our thermostat on in the winter, and I said 68, and he said, "Wow, you guys are kind of cold-blooded." And I was thinking, 68 is really not that cold, but I think if people don't realize, because we realized a long time ago, a couple of degrees can make a big difference, and we have a lot of friends. Well, we have some in some family who kind of go the thermostat in the opposite direction of the temperature, and those kinds of things are just little things that can make a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's funny is somebody said,
we're wearing
check
short
for
sleeves here, but since we're in Wyoming. I tend to wear a sweater most of the time.
So somebody said, if you're a senior, see if they have a senior discount at the same grocery store. If it was on Tuesday and I was the right age, I would have gotten additional 10% off on my Cheerios too. Another idea is if you guys have our 2021 daily planner. By the way, only 2 weeks left to buy the dated version. 2022 dated planner. You can, if you want, like where the shopping list is, you could make this your price book and just write down the name of the item, the store, how much it was, and when it was on sale. And you could use your shopping list at the back of your 2022 planner if you want. If you want the dated version, only 2 weeks left, and then we're not selling the dated version. It's going to be an undated version after that. All right. Buying and making things from scratch, Jill says, quite frequently is faster and cheaper. Yes,
I think a lot of people don't realize that, especially, well, somebody used the Starbucks example, but I was thinking about Taco Bell. In Colorado, Taco Bell would have 17 cars in line. And I was thinking, wow, you could make food a lot cheaper or a lot faster than the amount of time it takes you to wait in the drive-thru.
Yeah.
Debbie
says we're 2 families, 5 adults, 5 phone numbers, and we bought a digital coupon for all of them for all the foods we wanted. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Let's see. What do we have here? Mama Caraba says the thermostat is a big disagreement in her. Yeah. Thankfully, I have one mic over.
Wait, what was that? About what?
The thermostat's a big disagreement.
Was I ever like super aggressive?
When we were first married, you were kind of having a few issues, but then you realize, wait, we don't have enough money to pay for this. So.
Well, the thing about the thermostat is, like, we live in Colorado, we live in Wyoming, and like the office is downstairs, and it's a little colder downstairs, and I will just wear a sweater in the daytime when I'm here, and it's not like I'm wearing my winter coat down there.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it'll get colder if I'm only wearing the thin socks, and I'll put on a thicker pair of socks. And we could run in the heat higher, but why? Because if I just put on a thicker pair of socks, then I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And our house here, a few degrees, we'd be spending a lot of extra money.
Yeah. Yeah. Amanda says, I wanted chicken breast and it was $4.98 a pound. So we bought chicken quarters on sale for 88 cents a pound. There you go. This drives my mother crazy. My mother cannot understand why anyone at all ever buys any chicken breasts at all. But, I understand the convenience of not having to debone them and all that. But let me tell you, $4.98 versus 88 cents a pound, you can deal with the bones.
Well, something else that I was surprised
about. And no,
about.
it's not cheaper because it's bone in. We already did a whole nother video on that. And if you want to know if it's cheaper with bone in versus chicken breast, the bones are double the weight of the meat. So if you get a pound of bone in chicken thighs for 99 cents a pound, or you have chicken breasts for $1.99 a pound, it would be exactly the same price for the amount of meat. So that's how you would figure that out.
One thing, though, we did, we haven't been doing it lately, but Tara, for a long time, I think the prices were a lot lower. Tara was buying like chicken thighs or chicken quarters, and they were like they're like a thigh and a leg. Would that be what a quarter is?
Yeah. And
they were way, way, way cheaper. And I discovered that the taste of them is actually better than the white meat chicken.
Yeah.
So
I think Kimberly's talking about our seasoned salt recipe in Dining on a Dime cookbook. She says, still loving the seasoned salt on everything. Michael put the link for Dining on a Dime in there. Go to livingonadime.com, type in homemade seasonings, and you can find the recipe for that if you would like it for free. Shelly, I'm lucky in town I'm in. There's a discount store with good meat and the prices are great. I wish they had them everywhere. But yeah. I mean, there you go. So
actually, Jeannie, just curious, is your fireplace a sealed one or can you open the doors on the front? It's really beautiful. And just wondering how it worked out for you with the heating. I don't actually know if it's sealed. We haven't opened it, but sealed. There is a fan on it.
Yeah, it's sealed.
And we found that for us in this house, since we spend the majority of our time in this area, we've actually done the math and figured out it's cheaper for us to run the fireplace than to run the heater
Yeah.
and heat everything in the house. And there's the fan on it. So what's really cool is like at Christmas, when we have a lot of family around, we can turn on the fan and it'll kind of blow it around into the room more.
Yeah.
So
And we have a wood stove that I got for $250 off of Facebook Marketplace that we are going to have installed. As a matter of fact, in 10 days, someone is coming to give us an estimate on getting that installed. And so hopefully we'll have our wood stove. Now, we probably won't use the wood stove for everyday heating, but when it was -15 below 2 weeks ago, that would have been real nice to kind of help keep things a little bit warmer.
Yeah, because the other heater is, it struggles a little bit when it doesn't struggle, but when it's really cold, even when the house is sealed pretty well, out towards the edges, if it's 18 below zero outside, out towards the edges, it'll feel colder because the thermostat's in the middle.
Yeah. Michelle says quesadillas are really easy to make. The trick, save Taco Bell sauces. Yes. If we go out to eat, we save all the sauces and napkins and everything they give us and use them later. We never throw any of that stuff away.
And also Taco Bell sauce, for me anyway, it's worth buying it. They have it at the store. So we'll use the sauces if we have them, but I'll buy it because I'll make just beans and rice and put some onions on there and Taco Bell sauce.
Risa says since March 2020, we have started buying an extra TP so that now I have a year's worth of TP. Very good. Wow. That's what you need to do. I mean, you need to get a stockpile.
Well, and that's kind of an interesting way too. It's like she's not running in and grabbing out everything off the store, but just a little extra each time she goes in. And we kind of did that for a while when we had kind of let our supply run down.
Yeah. Oh man, sorry. Let's see. Patricia, if I didn't have my 97-year-old father, I would not run the heat in the house. I layer, he refuses to. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you're dealing with that, you just have to deal with it.
And that's one of those circumstances where, like, where else can you save? Because here at this house, we actually have 2 heaters. One of them is electric and one of them is gas. I'm not sure how much it costs to run the electric one, but the previous owners told us it was a lot more expensive. So we are, for the most part, not running the electric one because the gas one can do the whole house.
Well, and people are saying, oh, you don't get sales like that all the time. Last week, Mom got eggs for 99 cents and milk for $1.99. Every like 3 or 4 weeks, we get milk for $1.99 and eggs for 99 cents. You can find it all the time. You just need to watch and see.
Debbie says, what kind of fruit did you buy this week? The kind that was on sale always.
Very good. I mean, that's really it. If it's not on sale, we don't eat it. Or if it's not my regular sale price, I should say. But, you know, this week we're eating bananas and oranges for the boys. I'm not going to go out and buy strawberries and blueberries. That's ridiculous. I mean...
Well, and it's funny because a lot of people are saying, how do they do things in the old days? Well, one of the things they did in the old days is they used the fruit and vegetables that were in season now, because then you don't have to transport them from another country.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, somebody earlier said they got chicken thighs and legs for 99 cents a pound. Christy says chicken quarters are on sale at Aldi for 49 cents a pound.
You can get meat for really inexpensive, guys. It's whether you want to or not. And so then instead of complaining about inflation, you need to start changing your terminology to, I am choosing to pay higher grocery prices because I refuse to change what I eat. That's what it amounts to. And people don't like to hear that. But you got to get together, people.
But it's a little bit empowering if you think about it, because what Tara is saying is, you know, yes, there is some inflation going on and it's a lot worse than it's been in a while. But you can't really control that. But you can control the choices you make about which things you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And for us, especially, well, we still do it, even though we don't need to do it as much as we did. But especially when we were really tight, super tight on our budget, we would make those choices just to have an easier lifestyle and not be stressed out about spending too much. Because a lot of things, like earlier we did a show a while back, and people were talking about how bad the prices were getting on, and they were saying, yeah, steak and shrimp and Maine lobsters and things like that are just outrageous. Well, that's true, but those are luxuries. They're not really basic food items.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. It's true. There are things, like I said, there are things that maybe aren't great, like inflation. You don't like inflation, and I don't like inflation. But the thing is, you can't deal with the things you can control and other things that you can't control.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I had the comment from Janet. We have menu planning backwards. Buy it and then plan to use it. Yes, that is the whole entire premise of everything that we do, is stop doing meal planning. I don't do meal planning. I have about 10 meals for winter and spring, and then summer and fall for those 2 each. And then I just rotate them. I keep the food in my pantry stocked at all times. I buy it on sale, stock it up. If that food isn't in my pantry from buying it at a cheap price, I don't just go to grocery store and say, oh, we feel like having baked chicken and mushrooms tonight. I don't just go to the grocery store and buy chicken and mushrooms. If chicken and mushrooms happens to be on sale and my pantry is filled with it, okay, then we'll have chicken and mushrooms. But I don't just go to the store and buy. And that's how my grocery bill has not gone up with inflation right now. So, yeah. And Pyro Chick says, we do not have cheap food like you find ever. You're just not looking hard enough. So I've lived in a lot of places, and I have never, ever, ever not found cheap food anywhere.
Well, and honestly, we live in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Even New York City.
Which is basically the old West frontier, really. And things take longer to get here than other places, and there are fewer things in the stores because it's just a little harder to get it here.
Yeah.
So I would say a lot of our things actually cost more here than other places.
Yeah.
But Tara still finds these really good deals. Because when we went down to Utah last week, certain things were like $1 less. I forgot which things. What was it you were looking at?
I can't remember what it was now, but I was doing a video on empty shelves, and I just happened to look at the prices. And in Utah, a lot of things were $1 less, and then in Colorado, some were less also, actually.
And also, Colorado things were less too. Both of those places things were less for us. So we've been in Kansas, Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming, when we were visiting Utah, and we've been in a lot of other places, and the price, we could still find good prices. And there was a couple of years ago, Tara and our assistant were, people would say, I can't find good prices. There are never any good prices in my town. And so they were going and looking at the ads in the town, and they were finding there are those prices. Mm-hmm. The main thing is, if you say, I only shop at Safeway and I don't shop anywhere else, then you're going to pay more. Mm-hmm. If you say, if you want to pay less, the best thing is to see what are all the options for shopping and learn, this store has better prices on meat. This store has better prices on this. This store has good ad prices, but not good any other prices. And then you shop those stores for that reason. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, if you can keep track, it's not really hard. It sounds like it's complicated, but that's why Tara keeps talking about the price book. She made a price book, but you could just do it in a notebook if you want, which is just keeping track of, at this store, certain things, you can just sort of write down how much certain things are each week, and then you'll figure out, oh, this is a good store for this thing, and this is a good store for that thing.
Yeah. Brenda says, we live in Arkansas, and seems food prices are staying really reasonable compared to other states and don't seem to have a shortage on items. Yeah. Let's see. There's another
says, on the inflation debate. Either way, your methods work.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And that's the thing is, I think the main point is this type of way of managing buying and things will reduce greatly the amount that inflation affects you.
Okay, get the Stockpile ebook. How long, Jamie wants to know, how long did it take for you to have a moderate stockpile to menu plan with? Not very long, like 2 months. And we're going to put our free stockpile, how to stockpile e-cookbook on here for you. And for just $5 a week, just $5 a week, you can get your stockpile, your pantry built up, and start doing it. So like at that same grocery store today, they had canned pasta sauce for 79 cents a can, which is a good price for me. Normally I don't see it lower than 99 cents. So I stocked up and got 14 cans. So now I'm not going to need to buy pasta sauce for a while.
Sorry, it took me a
And
sec to
so
get that link. Here
I
it is.
just buy it when it's on sale. When I see something on sale that's a really good price, then I just buy a few extra and put it in there.
And I know I've kind of said this already, but basically the concept is buy your normal things. I mean, maybe a few less of the normal things if you like buying fancy things, and then find something that you always buy that's a super good price today, and buy more of that thing.
Yeah.
And then next time, when you're not buying that thing, look for a different thing that's a super good price and buy more of that thing. And each time you do, stockpile those things in your stockpile. After a few months, you'll have quite a few extra shelves of things. And then you can leverage that where you say, I only buy cereal when it's on sale. That's the way, like with us, we have a stockpile that has a certain amount of cereal, several shelves of cereal. And we pick it from there until Tara finds a really good price on it somewhere. We never pay the full price. No. Ever.
If Cheerios was $7.49 a pound, I don't care how much they love it, I would not be buying it. I mean, maybe if I had $3 or $4 million, maybe. But the way to get $3 or $4 million is to not buy it. That's how millionaires get their money, is they're frugal and they don't go and just waste it on stuff like that. Lisa, my son visited me in Ohio from New York. He bought meat here and he took it home in a cooler since it's so much cheaper. Yes, but how many people would not take the time to do that? I have done that before. We've told the story a million times. Our friends in Norway that we went and visited a couple of years ago. When we were there, they told how they drive 8 hours each way to go to Sweden because the groceries are so much cheaper in Sweden than Norway, and they spend 2 or 3 nights in a hotel, and they make several trips back and forth to the grocery store, to the hotel, stock up for a year's worth of food, and that's the majority of the food that they live on in Norway by making that one trip. How many Americans would drive 8 hours each way to save $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 or $5,000 on food? Probably in Norway it would be $5,000 to $10,000. How many people would do that and do the work? They wouldn't, and that's the problem.
Well, and if you do the math on how much is it worth, like we used to drive 70 miles to the grocery store when we lived in Idaho, and a lot of people said I wouldn't do that. But if in those days it was like 79 cents for a loaf of bread, but at our little store in our little town, the bread had dust on it and it was like $4.79. So you pay like 5 times, 6 times as much.
Bread was like 39 cents back then.
And it was a lot cheaper down. I said 79.
No, it was like 39.
Okay. But it was a lot more expensive like way more expensive. And we were thinking, what we did is and in little farm towns and in remote locations, people do this all the time. We just went to the store once a month, or maybe if we were in town, we'd pick up something else while we were there. And we would drive the 70 miles and people would say, oh, wow, that's so much extra expense. Not really, because it was expensive gas and an extra 70 miles. So it was an hour each way. And we saved hundreds of dollars whenever we would do that trip. So that it's really worth it. And like with our friend in Norway that Tara was talking about, in Norway, the food is dramatically more expensive than Sweden, like 4 or 5 times as much, wasn't it? And so for them, it was worth making a huge overnight trip to do that. And so if you do the math on that, the thing is, it's fine if you say, I don't want to drive to that town. If it's not that big a deal for you, but if you're really tight on money, that's one way to really save.
Yep. Okay. Somebody asked, how do you save on money in, I think it was a condo or apartment, I can't remember, or how do you stockpile when there's no room? We actually have a video coming up on that in several days, maybe a week. It's going to come out. So have a great day. You can watch that video in about a week or so. We're going to have that come out on how to prep in an apartment, stockpile in an apartment. Amazing Grace, are Honey Nut Cheerios gluten-free? Yes, they are, and they're very delicious. Although I can't eat them right now, but I do love them. Let's see.
Let's see. I think somebody's asking. I'm not sure if I understand the comments. So I think somebody might be asking again about the Stockpile ebook, and it's free. And I'm sharing the link to the How to Store Food on a Budget for $5 a week. It has the Stockpile cookbook, so you can read the post, and if you want the Stockpile cookbook, you can download it.
So Turid said that they drive. Hello, we were just wondering where you were, Turid. They drive 12 hours. Excuse me. It's not 8 hours. It's 12 hours each way to save 30,000, to save 30,000 Norwegian kroner, which is $3,300.
Wow.
To save $3,300. So there you go. That's US dollars.
Wow. If you could drive,
for those of you wondering.
You could drive 2 12-hour days to save $3,300. I think most people don't make that much in 2 days.
Well, in 24 hours, how much is that an hour? Let's see. So she saves $3,300 divided by 24 hours for driving. That's $137 an hour just for the driving. So let's say they do another 8 hours. She saves $3,300 divided by 24. Let's say it takes them 6 hours. So what? 30 hours? We'll say 32 hours. That's $100 an hour. And if you take off the gas, even in Norway, that still would be $60 or $70 an hour. That's definitely worth it. How many people work at jobs making $60 or $70 an hour?
Yep.
You know? I mean, anyway, I hope you're doing good, Turid. Okay. Yes, somebody was asking about recipes on the website. We have thousands, livingonadime.com, from our cookbooks on our website. They're all free. You don't have to buy the cookbook. You can, but you don't have to. They're all free on there, so you can try them. Anne says, we just moved from a 4-bedroom house to a 1,000-square-foot condo, and I was able to bring my entire stockpile with me. You wouldn't believe where I have things stored. You go, girl. There you go. That's great.
There are a number of people talking about living in apartments and things and being very creative with storing things.
Yeah.
It's funny because it wasn't food, but when we were first starting living on a dime, we had a pretty small house and we had the kids, and we were using boxes to make like the bases for beds and to make furniture and all sorts of things.
Yeah, we did. Jennifer says, hello, Jennifer. We were just in your part of the neighborhood 2 days ago. Plus, Jennifer says, we used to go in with our neighbors to do big Costco orders. Yes. Go in with friends and families. There's no reason for each family to have their own Costco membership.
There are not recipes that are specifically designed to be vegan and vegetarian in the book. Many of the recipes have no meat.
So there are 500 recipes, 1,200 recipes and tips in this book. And I counted because we get this question all the time. Vegetarian, there are 40 recipes that contain meat. So there are other milk and eggs. It's not a vegetarian or vegan cookbook, but it can be adapted. We've had lots of people tell me they use it all the time.
One thing, because I see a lot of people kind of talking about this. Some people say I find good prices in my smaller, more remote town store. Great, perfect.
Yeah.
You can get it nearby. That works awesomely. Other people are saying, would it be worth the gas to go somewhere? That's where you have to do the math, because we would drive 1 hour each way, which was 3 gallons of gas, and we would save like $500. And so if you do the math on that, you could figure out how much is a gallon of gas, how many gallons of gas am I going to use, how far am I going, how long is it going to take me to do it, and then kind of do that math for yourself.
Yeah.
We found that most of the time, like if you're the kind of person that has been used to living in a town and you say, man, I want to go down and get some spaghetti and a can of spaghetti sauce today to cook dinner today. Well, you don't want to drive 70 miles for that. So in that case, you have to say, we're going to buy our 1 monthly shopping trip for everybody, or maybe a monthly shopping trip plus some stockpiling. And we're going to make one big drive for that. And that's all. Or like we live in northern Wyoming. Billings, Montana is 2 hours away. Occasionally we have to go there for some reason, like for something for the business or whatever, and we will take advantage of that to buy things that we can't get here or that are a much better deal there. And that's another thing you can do, because a lot of times if you don't have a lot of stores near you, they're a very good choice. We have stores here that are, but sometimes there are things we can't get here or that are a lot cheaper somewhere else, and then we'll stockpile while we're there.
Okay, so let's see. Laura says your cookbooks are great. Michael put the link in for you guys. I'm single and use it all the time. Freeze leftovers and save a ton of money. Yes. Let's see. Wait a minute.
Patricia,
I just saw a question that I was going to answer. Now I lost it. Shoot.
Patricia said, I'm going to buy a trike to go shopping, save money on gas there. Actually, it's funny. My grandmother used to have one of those big trikes with a giant basket on the back, and that's a good memory for me.
Well, good grief. I can't see where the comment went, and it was something good, too. Oh, well. Amy. That was what it was. Amy says, I left you 2 messages. Did you get them? I guess we didn't, so post it here if you want me to see it, or editor@livingonadime.com. Maybe it got caught in spam or something. Threads and Jars says we never go without an ice chest in the vehicle. Yeah. I mean, keep stuff like that all the time in your car. So if you find a good deal on meat and you're in town and you live 50 miles away, you can do it. And don't forget stuff like in the winter. I don't use the ice chest in the winter in Wyoming. The meat will stay more than fine for 8 hours to 3 months. So it's cold enough here that it's not going to defrost just in the trunk of your car.
Yep.
Okay. So Amy, put your message in there if you want.
Yeah, Amy. Yeah, I scrolled up on the chat, and I'm not sure if our chat isn't going up far enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not seeing.
But go ahead and repost it again, and I'll watch for it. My local grocery store is 45 minutes from my house, but I always shop when I am in town at work. We've done that for years and years and years. Every time when Mike worked 100 miles from work, the same place where we had to go 70 miles to get groceries, he worked 100 miles from home. And I would have him stop and pick some stuff up before he came home on the weekends. Because, it was just really super hard, first of all, with 2 babies, a toddler and a baby. So
I see Leah. I don't see a link to your cooking channel. Oh, hi, Leah. I'm sharing it now. And also, it's Tara's Super Easy Recipes channel. You could also look up Super Easy Recipes. It's coming up in search now.
Yep.
And also, if you miss any of the links here, we normally try to post them on our show notes. If you go to livingonadime.com, our website, and at the top, there's a thing that says videos, and one of the links under it is show notes.
So Beth said, I sent you a housewarming gift. I got it today, Beth.
She absolutely adored it.
I was just like, oh my goodness, she made me these cute little washcloths and some gnome ribbon. And then look what she made me, guys. Thank you, Beth, so much. I was so excited. Is that not stinking cute? Oh my goodness. It's a little gnome apron.
I have to say,
thank you. My face just lit up today when I got it.
She was super excited when she got it. I could testify to that.
Thank you so much. And while we're at it, Bandana Grandma sent me this Fruit of the Spirit. Isn't that cute?
I also saw she was also excited when she opened that. We were in the car and she opened it up while I was driving, and she's like, "Oh, Susie sent me this, and it's so awesome." So
thank you, Susie. I appreciate that.
Just for anyone who's missed them in the comments, I did add the that to our show notes at Living on a Dime. So if you can't find the Super Easy Recipes channel or the free Stockpile cookbook link, I put those both in our show notes.
Jeannie wants to know, was Mom able to get her gingerbread men made for Christmas? No, she did not do that this year. So let's see. Q says in Holland, the advertisements, Q see what Dave needs. The advertisements, weekly ads for the next week are visible Thursday nights. I love you. Have fun.
Yeah.
To Friday night, just in time to decide what to buy this week or the next. Do you have that in America? Yes. In America, though, usually it's Tuesday or Wednesday is when they go on. So that is how we did it. Quirky girl, I got that thing going around. Well, just so you don't feel so bad, we got it ourselves 3 weeks ago. And yeah, we did. And we all lived to tell about it.
Yeah.
So now we don't got to get that thing because we already have immunity. So there you go. When are we going to take down the Christmas tree? Josephine, I don't take down my Christmas tree. I leave it up and change it for every season. It's my holiday tree. And I'm not being politically correct either.
Are you doing it for the whole year? Like in the past, it's been what? It's usually been Christmas through
like
Easter maybe.
Yeah, usually it's Christmas through Easter.
But this year she started it at Thanksgiving.
But this year we put it up at Thanksgiving, and now the boys are wanting to keep it up all year. So we'll probably keep doing it up all year. Okay, gluten-free, dairy-free. Yes, we have some gluten-free, dairy-free recipes, but I have a gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook if you want that. Every recipe has been tested by me, and the bread, the homemade bread for gluten-free bread is the best gluten-free bread you will ever eat in your entire life. My kids aren't gluten-free, and they will eat that bread before they'll eat regular bread. It tastes so good. Threads and Jars. I started watching you a few months ago, and I really appreciate our common sense approach.
I was looking
Thank you.
Benita says, you feel like family. I love all your advice.
Oh, thanks. When do we get to see Jill's new house? I have no idea. It'll probably be a while. She is not got everything decorated or sorted or anything yet. And my grandmother was here for a month, so she got behind on getting that.
Quirky girl, I smelled freshly tarred roads and then onions. Actually, this car exhaust smell I was talking about is kind of the same as the tarred roads kind of smell. So that's kind of funny. The one thing about the holiday tree is, you know, our nights are really long in the wintertime. And having the tree lit up and decorated for different holidays or different seasons has been kind of cheery in the dark seasons. Mm-hmm. And actually here, Tara has two. I think you've probably, if you watch the show regularly, you've probably seen both of them. There's a smaller one kind of over in our dining room area. And it's funny because Tara was going to take the big one down and the boys were saying, no, Mom, we love it.
Yeah, they weren't wanting me to take it down. So I was like, okay.
Any more plans for the kitchen?
Yes, actually I have 3 videos coming up on that pretty soon. Here's the Fruit of the Spirit sign that Bandana Grandma got me, and it is an affiliate link, but you know, you can use that if you want it.
Was it? I'm not sure if it was.
That was for Margot.
Have a great day says, I'm just lost living in my small condo, so scared the power is going to go out or the water, and I won't have a way to survive.
Well, just make sure you have an extra blanket. So go to the thrift store or look on Facebook Marketplace or something and ask people. I mean, you obviously have internet, so go to Facebook groups in your city that are like buy and sell groups, or look on Facebook Marketplace and just make sure you have extra blankets and get yourself a few extra jugs of water. If you're single, all you need is 8 or 10 jugs of water, and that will get you a gallon a day, will get you through for 10 days until you can get something else. So,
well, and if you're really,
don't sit there and just worry about it. Just as you can, pick up an extra jug of water.
Well, and let's say you have 10 jugs of water, but you're still kind of worried about it. You can go to a hiking store or an outfitter, and they have water filters, and we've showed some of them. But you can get a water filter where you could filter water out of a stream or something, and it filters it just like the plant that sends water to your house. So if the water was going to be out for longer than the water that you have, then having a filter would give you an option for that as well. And that if that would make you feel better, it's a good investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what prices are going up. So we didn't even actually address that, did we? So the 50%, the prices that are going up 50%, we were talking about gas, and we got so onto groceries that we didn't get onto gas. So in December of 2020, Mom and Ellie and I came to Wyoming, and gas was $1.67. In December of 2021, gas was $3.47 to $3.67 a gallon, depending on where you went. So gas has almost doubled in price. But as we kind of said at the beginning a little bit, the same thing happened when Obama was in office. And so it was almost $4.50 a gallon when we were in Colorado when he was in office. So, you just have to readjust your budget, figure out how you're going to pay for it, and then go from there.
It was have a great day, I think, was concerned. So what I would just say is she bought the pills for water. There's a lake near her. I would just get a filter because we have some filters that do.
Yeah, they're $20 for a little straw filter.
But some of those ones, like from REI or whatever, they do thousands of gallons of water, and a person needs about a gallon a day. So if you were to go get one of those filters, they're not very expensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you have a lake, good grief, just get yourself a little filter. Ask for it as a Christmas gift or something.
Yeah, because those filters will go thousands of gallons a day. I mean, not a day, thousands of gallons in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And if you only need a gallon a day, that would totally cover you for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the one thing about that is it's not really likely you're going to need it for ever and ever.
Sorry.
But if you did, you would have that, and then you can kind of scratch that off your mental, worry list.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
right here, I'm going to put it in. It's a Life Straw. It's a super small. It's about this big, and just get that, and then you can filter the lake water. It's $20.
You might be worried about that, but the thing is that if it filters out things like Giardia, that's all that your water treatment plant does.
Yeah.
So it's slower to get it out of that filter, but it's just as clean as
floating in your lake. Then just filter it with a coffee filter or pantyhose or a rag or anything. Just filter it with that first. Just put the rag on top of a cup and pour the water in, and then just use the Life Straw to drink it. But you could just boil your water. You don't have to get the Life Straw. You could boil the water for, I think it was 10 minutes. Just Google it. I can't remember the exact amount of time. You could put a couple of drops of bleach in the water. It's 6 drops per gallon. And then just let that sit for a little while overnight. And so those are several ways that you don't have to buy a Life Straw, that you could also get drinkable water. So it works really, really well.
Another thing is, if there are things that are, as far as the inflation thing goes, there might be things that you're spending money on that you really don't need to spend money on. Like people are talking about cars, like they bought different cars and stuff like that. And there are still a lot of people that are buying like there's no tomorrow. So if you're finding that you have something that's really putting the crimp on your budget a lot, you can sell it and then use something else. So I would suggest that, because one thing we get a lot of times from people is, I can't possibly do it because I live in New York City and my rent is astronomically high. Well, we moved multiple times in our lives when the prices were really high in this place. It wasn't necessarily the only reason we moved, but it's not impossible. So you have to decide, like, how important is it for me to stay in this one place? But most things that are causing those kind of uncomfortable pinches in your budget are things that you can buy or sell, that it's not your house. Yeah.
So those are some. All right, guys. So let me So first of all, go watch all our prepping videos, guys. I mean, we have tons and tons of prepping videos, and we're doing more and more prepping videos every day now. And those will help you get there. We're going to be doing more prepping as we go along, because that's what you guys want to watch. Our viewers want prepping, so that's what we're doing. So anyway, okay.
Oh, have a great day. Says, you guys are the best. What if the power grid goes out? How do I survive? Honestly, it would be very inconvenient. But if you have a way to not freeze to death in the winter, you can live without power.
Yeah. Just make sure you have extra blankets or a tent that you could sleep in at night to keep your body heat in.
Now, if you live in a big
bag.
city, it would be more difficult, because if the whole grid went down for too long, then it might be that they can't get water or gas to your house or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you were already asking about, the lake and the filter and all that. So I think you'd be fine.
Yeah. All right. 2022, get it together. People, planners, only 2 weeks left to get the dated planner. And after that, we're going to be selling undated. Okay. So if you want the dated for 2022, we had some shipping issues. If you got caught in our shipping issues, I am so sorry. Our printer had some issues with that. And so I think we have it sorted out now. I'm pretty sure we do. Also, Dining on a Dime cookbook, 25% off if you guys want that. Yes, the planner is 20% off.
Did you share a link for that?
So I did a little bit ago, but you might share it again since I just showed it.
Quirky Girl says that it was her birthday yesterday and she turned 54.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
And Joni says she loves the prepping videos. Kana says, I miss the soap videos. Yeah, guys, I just don't have a place to do it in this house. But one thing we came up with at our conference that we were at.
Yeah, we went to a YouTube kind of mastermind conference in Utah over the last week.
So we figured out a plan to get our studio in the big garage up. So Super Easy Recipes will be having more videos coming up for that. So Urban Mama, are any of my kids in college? No. They did not want to waste money on college because, frankly, college is a huge waste of money at this point.
We did have one that took like 15 hours of business classes.
Yeah. We have one that took 15 hours of business classes, one that took 25 hours in high school. She has credit for. And then another one had some college in high school also. But no, they did not. They did not want to waste money on that. So yeah. Okay. So any last questions real quick, dear, before we go? Kimberly Christina loves all of our videos. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys love them. Sherry just got her planner today. Yay. I'm so glad.
Oh,
so glad.
Something about the planners that you said that I would.
And Beth paid off her car last week. You go, Beth. Good job. Good job. All right, guys, please visit us at livingonadime.com. We will see you guys next time. Go watch our prepping videos. That will give you more information. Have a great night.
Bye. Guess that means it's the end now, right?